Dentro de las trincheras.
Inside the trenches.
Inside the trenches.
Dentro de las trincheras.
Inside the trenches.
Inside the trenches.
Dentro de las trincheras.
Inside the trenches.
Well, hello, somebody. Yeah, it's time to move your body. Welcome back to Inside the Trenches. It's your host, Marlon Favorite, and yes, indeed, we are back in the place to be, live here at Loyola Studios, right here in beautiful New Orleans, Louisiana. And I am super excited about this show because we're getting closer to that draft, baby. So we're going to have ourselves one heck of a show. We want to thank Small Sliders Marrero for sponsoring the show. 1635 Metairie Boulevard. Right now, as I mentioned to y'all before, that they are out of commission due to some a fire incident that happened at their place, but they will be back, and they will be taking party plates here pretty soon once they get things going, so I got to get with Rick on that. So we want to thank Small Sliders for sponsoring this segment. We also want to thank Montero Motors. That's right, my man Alberto over there. He's at 1512 North Causeway Boulevard, right over there in Metairie, Louisiana. Y'all can go to MonteroMotors.com for the great deals. Let them know that you heard about them on Inside the Trenches. Now, CL, he told me the other day that they do have some deals on some Silverados. So if y'all looking for a nice Silverado to go get your hustle on, nice used vehicles over there at Montero Motors. CL. Oh, by the way, this is my co-host, CL NOLA, baby. And shouts out to our production team over here at Loyola holding it down. But you kind of had YouTube rolling the other day.
Oh, really?
So for segment 1, we do want to talk about the NFL draft. Look at some players that most feel are the top 10 in the draft.
Right.
We want to take this time also to look at the LSU players, where they may land as well. Some of the best case scenarios for the Saints as well at 9 and 40. So let's go ahead here, and if y'all want to comment, feel free to comment below here on the YouTube tab on ESPN Baton Rouge, because y'all were definitely commenting on my Inside the Trenches. So CL, let's address it first. You talked about, first and foremost, we started off talking about Will Campbell and how he might have dropped, and how James Pierce Jr. may have dropped, and we feel like those two guys are. Well, James is probably one of the better edge rushers,
right?
Outside linebacker, that edge position in the draft. And Will Campbell, in my opinion, is the best offensive lineman.
I agree.
In this year's draft. Some may feel differently. So you said something about, they had him somewhere. I don't know if it was Pierce. I think you were talking about Pierce. Somewhere like 28, 20.
Yeah.
Somewhere. He's like, man, he dropped that far. We both thought that was ludicrous based on his skill set and after his performance. But then you said, basically, pick 28 is like the second round. So now you got to explain.
Sure. Yeah, well, I'm a forward thinker. I've been involved with the NFL draft was probably since I was involved with the NFL draft. Just in my mind, wanting to know, and obviously having the knowledge of the teams and the needs or what have you. But when I say 28 or 25 is considered the second round, because realistically, as I sit back and I think about it, realistically, from probably 11 to 32. 11, so at 11, you can get the same player that you could get at 32. And the talent weighs out. Because there's going to be a top maybe 5 of the awesome guys.
Right.
After that, you get some pretty talented guys that have the most potential, the most upside. But after about pick 10, pick 11, you could get that same guy at 32. So that's why I consider after 15, most likely, it's the second round, pretty much.
Okay, I think I see where you're going with it. And so basically what CL's saying is, if you're not a top 10 pick, you could easily slip into pick 33, 34. You can easily
slip into the second round.
Based on needs. So when you look at the top 10 picks in the draft, you start ranking guys. You have Travis Hunter up there.
Sure.
Mason Gray is up there. A Tyler Ward name pops up. Cam Ward, his name pops up. Will Campbell. It's a lot of guys that could potentially go early on in the draft.
Top 10 for sure.
Top 10. New York, they need a quarterback. They're in the Giants we're talking about. 9 out of 10 chances they're going to go quarterback. Well, I'm sorry, let me take that back. They don't need a quarterback. They need a playmaker now because they got Russell.
Right, so let's look at it like this. Let's say the Jets need a quarterback and the Giants need playmakers.
Yeah.
Because obviously the Giants signing Russell and Jameis Winston. The Jets deciding to go with Justin Fields at quarterback. I could easily see them bringing another quarterback in to compete with him for the starting job.
Do you feel like it's more of a trust thing with Aaron Glenn? Because, I mean, you have to say now you could consider Justin Fields a veteran in the game.
You can.
Yeah, he's started in Chicago. He did get traded to Pittsburgh. He was in a package for Pittsburgh. So you can look at him as a guy that he may not have enough Russell Wilson skins on the board. Like Russell legit won a Super Bowl.
Right.
Competed in the NCAA was an issue. Boy, he always gave us a problem when he played us down in New Orleans, just the way he scrambled.
No comment.
But to that point, to that point, man, they really, it's really one of those situations where I feel that when you look at the dynamic of the team in New York and, the guys that they have and the situation in terms of coaching, players on defense, who needs the quarterback more?
Honestly, in my opinion, it would be the Jets. Because with all due respect, and obviously you know how I feel about Coach Glenn and the respect I have for Coach Glenn, especially with, him being down here and, him spending time to talk to me, just in general. that has nothing to do with what Woody Johnson, the owner of the New York Jets, would actually want in that moment. So let's just say for jokes and giggles, Shador Sanders drops to the Jets at 6.
Mm-hmm.
How do you not bring in Shador? And even if you want to start Justin Fields, start him if you want. But how do you not bring in a Shador Sanders, knowing that New York that could be the New York starting quarterback for the next 10 years?
You do have to look when you look at it's 3 quarterbacks that I say you can move forward with and build around that pop out based off of what I've seen in my observations. One quarterback is Shador.
Mm-hmm.
Some will say he's the best. Some will say like
Most pro ready.
out of and based off of his and I look at the offensive line he's had
Right.
here over the past few years.
His whole college career.
His whole college career. Texas obviously wanted to go Quinn Ewers, and he's an honorable mention. I'm gonna go ahead and tease our listeners. I look at Ewers as more of the 4th to 5th best quarterback in this
Even
draft.
that guy from Louisville, not Louis, Louisville. His name runs from me. But just to mention that situation with Shador not having a great offensive line, he was the most sacked quarterback in college football with 99 sacks, and he only missed 1 game.
And was still able to produce Power 5. So I do pay attention to that as something that you have to look at and say you have to give credit where credit is due. So then I would look at Cam Ward. So Shador, Cam Ward, I would say Jackson Dart, and then Quinn Ewers. Those are like the best quarterbacks in this draft. The need starts. Tennessee needs a quarterback.
I think that's a lot.
Cleveland needs a quarterback. You look at now the next potential need for quarterback with the Jets. Now, I'm on CBS Sports. I'm looking at one of their mock drafts. They have offensive linemen, Mirabou from Mizzou.
Yep.
So what they saying? Okay.
Right tackle.
So what they saying? Are they saying that maybe that Aaron Glenn may go more towards the offensive line to give Justin Fields some protection because he is a starting quarterback in the NFL.
I could easily see that happening, and then maybe they address the backup quarterback in the second half, in the second round, third round. I could easily see that happening. But for my bank and for my bet, Woody Johnson, after going through that whole turmoil with obviously the Jets not having quarterbacks for years, now having that Aaron Rodgers situation happen for 2 years, to actually have a guy that they know that they could be at the helm for the next 10 years and he could rest and get the newspapers off his butt behind not having a quarterback since Joe Namath, we'll see.
It's something to look at. If y'all are just tuning in to Inside the Trenches, baby, we're talking about the NFL draft, the first couple of picks, where everybody may potentially land. Who's your quarterback? Who's the first quarterback to fall off the board? Last year, me and CL was screaming, draft Jaden Daniels, draft Jaden Daniels.
God.
All the
Play
draft
the tape,
experts,
play the tape.
what they were saying, no, get
Play
Caleb
the
Williams. Caleb Williams is the guy. And lo and behold, Caleb Williams was nowhere near the playoffs, and Jaden Daniels.
If I was ever able to get my hands on all these reels of me telling y'all what people should do before they do it, and then we have to go back and I have to say, yeah, I told y'all, boy, this show would be beyond explosive.
Well, here's the thing, CL. You could do that. You could always go and check out our old episodes on Inside. So you got to do some digging. They can go to Inside the Trenches with Marlon Favorite right on YouTube and just go to digging. It's on there.
Well, I'll be.
I want to say that was maybe last year around this time you said that because it was close to the draft.
Yeah.
I think that might have been when you said it. But no, it's something to look at, and it is an interesting take. I want to take a look, man, at some of our LSU guys. I think that if you look at the amount of players that we produce in the NFL throughout the years, even free agents, even guys like, we could go back to the Ryan Clark days. We know how exceptionally well how great of a career a guy like Howard Green had back in the we could go back in the day of guys who wasn't drafted but had exceptional careers. So right now we know Will Campbell has 88 89% grade by most people. Was right out the gate a freshman starting. He's projected to go in the first round anywhere in the top 10 picks.
Yep.
Now, you and I talked about the Saints potentially getting him. I know you – did you say the Patriots is a – no, you said –
I said the Patriots.
Okay, you said the Patriots.
Because the thought process is this. Because I guess now I've been challenged to explain my thought process, and I'm actually excited to do that.
And it was quick, too. The dude commented like 5 minutes.
Yeah, and I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I so appreciate it. The thought process is this. Cam is a lock at 1. Let's say Cleveland decides to go with Shador. Let's just say Shador.
Yeah.
Then at 3, it's who's at 3?
At 3, you have Carolina, right?
No.
You have the
Jets.
Jets. Giants. I said Jets.
So let's say the Giants go with Mason Graham. Because they already have – oh, no, you know what? Say they go with McMillan, a wide receiver to go on the other side of Malik Neighbors.
Yeah.
Then at 4, you have
not Malik Boutique.
No.
You said the Giants.
The Jets.
No, you said the Giants, not the
Giants.
Patriots. 4 is Patriots.
Yeah. So 4 is Patriots.
Gotcha.
So now you're telling me Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter has dropped to the Patriots. They could use him at wide receiver. It'll be okay at corner. But a Will Campbell could solidify the back of Drake May because Drake is the future for the Patriots.
Even more now because they went along and traded
Milton
on over to the
So what did it?
Cowboys.
Don't get me started. Don't get me. Y'all do anything to discredit Dak and put Dak in some kind of peril, but don't get me started with that.
He got a serious backup now.
Yeah, well, he got a serious contract. I'm sorry for getting off.
Go ahead. That's me. I got you. Go ahead.
The point is, imagine if Travis Hunter drops to 4 with the Patriots, and the Patriots have to decide between Will Campbell and Travis Hunter. I could see Will Campbell going before Travis Hunter at 4, and that's why I spoke of Will Campbell going at 4 because they need somebody to block for Drake May. Clearly, they've cleared out their house. Their backup is not Milton anymore. He traded him to the Cowboys. Here we go.
So right now, currently quarterbacks, you have their situation is pretty good. They can look at later rounds, see what quarterback slips, see who might match them.
Right.
But right now, their quarterback room is simple: Drake May and Josh Dobbs. So you could see them coming with a third quarterback. Now, they did beef up their receiving core, adding Stephon Diggs.
Yeah.
You have DeMario Douglas, but
They brought Hollins over from Buffalo.
From Buffalo, you have
Yeah.
Mac Hollins. You have Keyshawn Boutte.
Right.
Keyshawn Boutte. So you have some guys there. Do you bring an athlete in that could help contribute on offense and defense with Travis Hunter? Or do you give Drake May some more protection? I want to hear from our viewers.
Yeah.
Feel free to
Please.
chime in.
Please.
We're talking Patriots. We're going to get to what y'all want to talk about soon here, the Saints. But is this a situation, CL, you think that they maybe – I think you might have some of Will Campbell here just based off of, needs.
In my opinion, it would make more sense for them to give Will Campbell, just for the simple fact is the head coach is Mike Vrabel.
Mm-hmm.
You knew what he did in Tennessee. He was about the offensive and defensive line. They gave the richest contract to Williams to come over from Philly to play D-line. I could see them getting Will Campbell because at the end of the day, you can find a wide receiver to be on the other side of Diggs and Hollins.
Mm-hmm.
You can find another corner that could be on the other side of Gonzalez in New England. You can't find another Will Campbell in this draft.
This is true, my friend. He is, to me, when you look at talent that could stretch a bit further than just being a 3-year bust guy. This is somebody who's proven he could play and sustain against top talent. It was
and
fun
all
watching
due
it every
respect
week.
to Travis, this is about needs. All due respect to Travis, he is all world. He will be a productive player in this NFL. But the question was, what was my thinking behind it? And my thinking was that they rather protect Drake May for the next 10 years than to give him a weapon for the next 5.
And that's as real as it gets.
There it is.
So we did talk about Will Campbell as one of the players in this draft that's going to go high. You got Braden Swinton. He could potentially go second, third round. Mason Taylor, kind of the same thing. Late first, early second, give or take. But he's the second best tight end in this draft.
Yeah.
To some people first, of course there's Ty Warner, who's balling out. Zay Alexander, I do think that somebody gets a steal with him. Cornerback. He played on a defense at LSU that struggled with play calling and being able to put the right person.
Size, Fave. He's just a prototypical
Yeah.
NFL cornerback, and I think he can find a spot on special teams and then get a job, get a shot.
No doubt. Zay, Miles, Frazier, somebody maybe third round could jump into the second round depending on needs. Emory Jones. To me, Emory Jones at his position, a team may get lucky and get him in the second round. If he slips to the third, man, it's a steal on wheels. Now, a name that's popped up a lot. I talked with Vance Joseph at the Tulane's Pro Day a couple weeks ago when they had it, and we were talking about Savion Jones. Now, Savion is related to the Favorites in St. James. So ever since he got to LSU, even before he got there, playing for Coach Rob Valdez, who's the current coach at St. Aug, he talked about how special he was. Same thing with Jack Marucci. Jack talks to the scouts and a lot of the pro coaches about the players, and they trust Jack's evaluation because he's been around LSU for so long. He raved about Savion. Here's a kid that right now amongst most boards at 6'6", he's about 280, 285 pounds, could play on the inside as well. Here's a young man that might creep into the second round, but they got him projected as a mid-rounder.
What do we know about LSU defensive linemen? They play hard. They're versatile. If you look throughout the league, you'll see guys from LSU on defensive line sprinkled all through the league. Why? They're versatile, and they're also tough. To be honest, they're tough. And what I see happening is there's gonna be guys that's gonna fall because everybody knows the top 10 guys. Everybody knows the top 10 guys. Even the bloggers know the top 10 guys. But we're talking about third round, fourth round, fifth round. These are where the scouts come into work, and knowing that guys got higher grades, got a second round grade, but because it's a numerical situation, it's a numbers game, they drop to the third and fourth round, and that's where the steals come in. I think there are 2 steals on LSU's draft list, and y'all know Emory is the number 1.
Emory Jones for sure. We talked about his impact as an offensive lineman. As much as we talk about Will Campbell holding down the left side, Emory is
the right side guy. In my opinion, he's the second best right tackle under Biombo
in this draft.
Yeah,
now, I'm with you on that one.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, brother.
Go ahead.
The second steal of the LSU draft is Lacey.
And I was just about to mention him next.
Hey, I'm not even gonna play with y'all. Lacey.
He obviously was in a situation, and of course, we pray for the victims.
Right.
But from what I've heard recently, and not to quote me, a lot of that's cleared up. He had a pretty good pro day.
Sure.
Ran up pretty good. I think he ran like a 4.5 or something to that nature. Here's
200
somebody
pounds.
who was potentially going to be a late first rounder, early second rounder. Now, because of what happened, and it does kind of remind me of the situation with Lionel Collins. He was a first rounder, and then the situation came up where he wasn't guilty, he didn't have anything to do with, but because it happened, his
timing was terrible.
His deal, was a bit off. That's one. 2, you have guys like Garrett Dellinger who will definitely, because of size and being on that elite line, will be successful. Parrish Shan, he's coming out this draft. And also, now this last guy I mentioned from LSU, and we'll switch gears here in a second. man, when you talk about Josh Williams' pro day and how he was able to perform on his pro day, to me is nothing next to phenomenal. His whole story, like being able to come in as a undrafted, as a walk-on on that national championship team, stick with this one team, fight it out. He wasn't the best running back every play, but he fought hard. And I think here's a guy that you may see somebody draft him late round or may potentially, have a lasting career as a free agent in the NFL.
No one journey is the same. No two players get to the NFL the same way besides the first round drafts. But anything can happen. You don't need 32 teams to like you. You need one team, one scout, one GM, one owner, one cafeteria worker, one custodian. You just need one person, one team, one organization to like you to give you a chance. And there you have it.
No doubt. If you're just tuning in to Inside the Trenches, baby, we're here at Loyola's beautiful studio. I'm loving the vibes. I'm telling you, I feel like I'm about to start working on the album every time I come up in here. But we're talking about the NFL draft. I want to talk about the LSU guys, where they may potentially land. And, of course, as we get closer to the draft and develop more information about these guys, we will for sure bring it back up and see who's maybe crept up the draft boards a bit or who may have put themselves in a situation to win. But I'm excited for those players because, hey, this is definitely a bright future for them. We're going to keep going along, and we want to take this time once again to thank our sponsors, Montero Motors, that's 1512 North Causeway Boulevard in Metairie, Louisiana. If you're looking on the market for a vehicle, you don't want to spend any money on a new vehicle, you can get a used vehicle at Montero Motors. Again, Alberto will hook you up. You just let him know, man, Big Fav said this is the place to be, baby.
Get it.
And he going to get you right. CL, we got to go and talk about when them Saints go marching in. And I thought it would be cool to just
Why not?
I know that they're pretty much laced up with their draft picks. Just for our viewers, so you know, the Saints' full draft order. They have
number 9.
Number 9 at 1. They have 40. They have 30. They have
73.
71.
71.
71. They have the third round 93. They have the fourth round 112. Fourth round 131. They have a 6 at 184. A 7 at 247. And then they have a scenario where they have 7. 254, which is the later part of the draft. Sometimes they usually use those as trade bait. Now, CL, here's what I just saw. I was on Yahoo Sports, and I saw a scenario where New Orleans trades up to 6 for quarterback Shedeur Sanders, Colorado. Now, we know recently, with this, New Orleans receives a 6. The Raiders receive 9, 71, and 184. You always talked about them using one of those third-round picks as trading bait.
Yeah.
Do you like the Saints jumping up to 6 to go get Shedeur, man? Hot-hand quarterback with the dad that love the colors. Prime like the color New Orleans, train down here sometime.
As much as I love Shedeur, as much as I would want to have Shedeur as the quarterback of the New Orleans Saints, I mean, my original plan was to get Shedeur.
Right.
Last year, I was talking about it. I would not trade up for Shedeur because the value is too costly. I have a lot of holes to fill on my offensive and defensive parts of the sides of the ball. So I wouldn't trade up for Shedeur, but I would definitely draft him at 9 if he dropped it to 9.
I mean, this team isn't like the New York Jets who we're talking about. They're not like the Giants.
Right.
The Jets, you got Justin Fields. He can move his feet. The Giants got Russell. I think that will work for you. Got Malik Neighbors. He could get one of Odell Beckham passes off to him. He matches the area. You got the superstar wife, Sierra. She's in New York City. They're doing shows every other night. So
I'm sure the Giants can't wait.
They can't wait. I mean, it's a
Giants fans.
It's a marketing success. The Big Apple, Big Russell, Super Bowl champion, superstar wife.
Full Giants.
Get on the floor. 1-2 step. You'll get that going in my little Sierra.
I
But
wonder how many wins that's gonna calculate for the Giants.
I don't know, but I mean, you look at, and I know we're talking Saints here, because the whole side of, and the reason I brought that up was you want to have a guy that brings spark.
Oh, for sure.
So you do draft him in the first round.
Oh, for sure.
This is a team they've drafted guys in the first round before that were developmental players.
For sure.
Why not at a position where you really need an explosive player? One thing you said, you was like, man, as long as the Saints get an electric player,
Right.
somebody, an electric player on offense that
Right.
could, I don't know if you told me that off air or on air on one of the shows, but
Right.
I agree.
At 9.
At 9. I don't care if it's McMillan from Arizona.
Tyler Warren.
I don't care if it's Tyler. I do like Tyler Warren because he's considered the best tight end. I'm just such an LSU guy. I guess if we go tight end, I'd rather just be Mason Taylor.
Okay. Ashton Genty.
Now, that's the next position I was going to go at, an explosive player in terms of Ashton Gentry, which, incidentally speaking, according to Yahoo.com, as I mentioned to you earlier, that trade at 6 was between the Raiders and where the Raiders go. Ashton Gentry, because they're a team as well. Pete Carroll, he needs an explosive player. So, I mean, yeah, CL, like, that's something that we should look at.
And we know these are the explosive guys. So you look at Gentry at running back. The difference between him and the next best running back is a huge step. You look at Tyler Warren, you may argue the LSU tight end, you may argue the Miami tight end, you may argue there's another tight end that was good. I was running through my mind.
Not the old boy from not South Carolina.
No.
I'm gonna think about it.
It's gonna kill me because this kid is really, really good. Number 18, is killing me. But anyway, the difference is Tyler Warren is incredibly better than these guys. So the drop off. So in the top 10, you need these explosive players. We know Genty is the best running back. Some say McMillan is the best wide receiver, but we know Tyler is the best tight end. You need something. You need the most explosive thing at 9, in my opinion.
And I know we're about to wrap the segment here in a second. I know we talked about pick 40 briefly. I'll comment on it. I don't really necessarily have a player. I just feel like if we do get that offensive explosive player, we do need to spend a little stock on defense.
Oh, for sure.
At 40.
The next 2 picks, your second round at 40, your third round at 71, it could be rush edges, right? It could be that outside linebacker in this 3-4 we're supposed to run that's not on the team right now. It could be those guys. But at 9, we need an impact player, regardless if it's Shedeur Sanders, Lamar, if it's Genty, if it's Warren, because we can definitely get an edge in the second round.
Oh, no doubt, baby. Well, it is Inside the Trenches. Yes, indeed, we're to talk about this draft. I don't know this. I feel like it's gonna spill into our last segment because for our 4th segment, we will talk about some of these colleges' spring games, and we're gonna talk about LSU and Tulane up, and then we gotta start talking about the draft because both teams will have draftable players. But we're gonna go ahead and keep this show rolling. We're gonna take ourselves a quick break. We want to again thank Small Sliders Montero for their contributions to the show, along with Montero Motors right there at 1512 North Causeway Boulevard in Metairie. Holla at my boy Alberto if you're looking for a used car. It's Inside the Trenches, baby. We're live here at the Loyola Studios right here in beautiful New Orleans, Louisiana. We're going to be right back for segment 2. We'll be joined. I love when we have high school players come on the show.
Doubt.
We'll be joined by John Curtis's offensive lineman, Brock Bryan. They call him Booger, baby. He going to come on the show, talk about his off-season training and some of the goals he have ready for this season, baby. It's Inside the Trenches. Y'all don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on ESPN Baton Rouge YouTube channel. Hello.
Hi, it's Alberto Montero. We got a great selection of vehicles in and out of here on a daily basis. We offer financing, all Carfaxes are online, and all our vehicles are serviced and inspected before sale. Best selection and prices in all of the New Orleans metro area. Come visit us today at 1512 North Causeway in the heart of Metairie. Come check us out at MonteroMotors.com.
Montero Motors, a proud sponsor of Inside the Trenches, ESPN New Orleans.
Hello, somebody. This is Robert Wolf. If you are in need of construction or real estate services, project management services, give us a call at 504-393-2445.
Well, hello. Like Rob just said, hit up Robert Wolf Construction and Real Estate for your real estate and construction needs. And let them know you heard about them on Inside the Trenches with Marlon Favorite on ESPN New Orleans. Hello, somebody.
Hello, I'm Shelton Jordan with Lamarque Crescent City Ford. If you are in need of a commercial vehicle, I'm here to help. From F-150s to Super Duty trucks or chassis to cargo vans, passenger vans, or if you're in need of a vehicle to be upfitted, we can build it especially for you. Or if you're looking for a truck or SUV, I can also help you at Lamarque Ford Store in Kenner. Feel free to call me at 504-734-3579 and ask for Shelton. Lamarque Crescent City Ford is a proud partner of Inside the Trenches on ESPN.
Inside the Trenches.
Dentro de las trincheras.
Inside the trenches.
Inside the Trenches.
Dentro de las trincheras.
Inside the trenches.
Inside the Trenches.
Dentro de las trincheras.
Inside the trenches.
Inside the trenches.
Dentro de las trincheras.
Inside the trenches.
Inside the trenches.
Well, hello, somebody. Hello, somebody. Welcome back to Inside the Trenches. It's your host, Marlon Favorite, and we're having ourselves a great time on this Monday fun day. Ain't y'all glad it's Monday, baby? I'm here with the best co-host in the city, my man CL NOLA. Y'all be sure to follow him at CL_NOLA. And you can also follow me at BigFave504. And remember, make sure you like and subscribe to Inside the Trenches with Marlon Favorite. We want to take this time out to thank Robert Wolf Construction for all their contributions to the show. If you're looking to get your house elevated, right? We're looking for house elevations, house renovations, anything construction and in real estate, you can holler at my folks at Robert Wolf Construction, 143. That's a number of love, baby. 143 La Palca Boulevard, Gretna, Louisiana. And you can also call them at 504-393-2445. Use code word BigFave for special rates. Well, the name of the show is Inside the Trenches.
It is.
And that's because this where the game is won and lost, baby. So, you know, that's how we bringing it. So our next guest, he features Inside the Trenches, baby. John Curtis High School, class of 2027. One of our guys over there at Conquer Sports that we train, my main man, Brock Bryant, also known in the world as Booger. What's up, Boog?
What's good? What's good? Thank y'all for inviting me on here. It's a pleasure to be on here. Yeah, what's up? What's up?
Well, bro, thanks for so much for coming on. And y'all be sure to follow my main man Booger at 77_Bryant on Instagram. He swagged out all the time, so y'all be sure to check him out. So we're gonna start with you. So you've been at John Curtis now. This is going into your third year at John Curtis, or did you go in the 8th grade?
I went in the 7th grade, so going my third year.
So you've been there for a while.
Yeah.
What has been like, playing on the offensive line for John Curtis in your first few years?
It's different. It's really different because, we run it different over there. Mm-hmm. And so we don't do like the pass rush. We kind of like a run play school. So if you want to play the offensive line for John Curtis, you got to be tough. Mentally tough, physically tough. You got to have a lot of stamina because you going against some big dudes over and over again, and you ain't having no break.
Right.
So, yeah, it's tough. You got to be tough for it. Yeah.
Yeah, one thing about John Curtis, it's a winning tradition.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think you've been on any championship team, right?
No, not
Yeah,
yet.
so I'm pretty sure it's a goal. But, CL, that's normally the thing, man. Like, you go to Curtis for 4 years, you're typically going to get a championship ring within that,
maybe two.
in that time span. Yeah. So I know that's something that you're, striving for to be, become a champion.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Brother, thank you for coming once again.
You're welcome.
So you're going into your...
Going to my junior.
You're going in your junior year.
Yes, sir.
And you're starting at what position?
Center.
Center.
Yeah.
Wow. Do you realize at center, that's usually the smartest offensive lineman on the field?
Yeah, gotta be.
Are you in control of the huddle? Is it your huddle in your junior year?
Yeah, you got to call the huddle. As a center, being the smartest. Also, like, being the smallest, but you got to be like a leader, right? If you want to be a center, you have to be a leader. You have to be very smart, the smartest on the line, really.
When did you know, man, center's my position? I think this is because we train him in the off season, and we've danced with both playing on defense and offense. But I mean, he looks so crispy clean at that position. I mean, when did you know that was the one?
It's a calling.
So I've been doing center since I was like 4. So it's embedded. It's embedded in my body. Like it's natural to me now. Like I've been playing center for so long that it just became a part of me. Like it's natural. Like when I go to other position, it's like it feel weird. It's not like comfortable. When I go to center, it's comfortable.
Copy that. Who are some of the centers that you watch, modern your game after, possibly want to be like?
Jason Kelsey. That's who I mainly watch.
Okay.
Yeah, Jason Kelsey.
I'm gonna give you one.
I like how he's small. He's small, but he's strong. Like
very strong.
He's smart. He's a good man out of football. Right. You got some guys that might be good on the field, but not like good as a person. But J.C. Kelsey, he's all around, man. He's a great guy.
Well, I'll give you some film too. A Mike Webster from the Pittsburgh Steelers. And just to get a little closer to your time frame, I know you're a little younger. Give maybe the Pouncey brothers.
Yeah.
The Pouncey brothers. So just to look at centers, brother. Yeah. Really.
So one thing I can say, CL, Boog has been busting his tail here in the last year, working his tail off, and not only the drills, but in the classroom, just doing what they have to do to, make sure you take care of his business academically. What's some of your achievable goals for spring ball? Like, what's some of the things that you want to accomplish this spring once this kicks off next month?
Are you talking about, like, the practice?
On the field, like, I'll give you an example. I remember going into this was my junior year. I said I wanted to improve on my swim move. So I know that's something, like, I really focus on that each practice. Thought my bull rush was good, but I wanted to be able to bull swim or, off the gate, like speed rush, come with a quick swim. So going into that season, that's something that I really focus on. Is it anything on the field that you feel like going into the spring, these are the areas or this is the area I really want to improve in?
I really want to improve, like, my footwork and how I drive people off the ball. That's what, like, as an offensive line, you got to, like, at Curtis, you got to run play a lot, so you got to be strong down here in your legs. One of my coaches, he told me, like, don't worry about bench. If you're not good at bench, make sure you're good in squat. Because as an offensive lineman, your legs is your most important thing. So I want to get my footwork and get better at driving people off the ball.
That's big time. I don't know if you saw the video from him squatting. He just did like 500.
Yeah. Well, he's a natural center. He knows how to get in position. He's a smart guy. He knows what to run, when to run. What's your ultimate team goal this year, brother?
Obviously, I want to win a championship. We got to win a championship. As Curtis, we always win. We just got to win. I feel like we got to win the championship.
It's a thing. I mean, it's your tradition. Like most guys, like Coach Cornell, I think Stu got 2 or 3 rings. It was just going. It's just a thing.
Any personal goals?
Myself, I want to achieve out of football. I want to get like a 3.78 GPA. That's what. Yeah.
Any specific reason why 3.78?
I just want to be better at just improve. 3.2 that's good, but I want to be better than that. Cause if I'm good and somebody else good, to a college coach, he gonna look at the GPA. Who's smarter? Who coachable?
Right.
So I want to be more coachable.
Well, if you're gonna introduce that to the courtroom, then we're gonna have to speak on it. Any colleges that you're considering, brother?
So I'm a home baby, so LSU obviously, but Georgia, Michigan.
Ooh, he looked like one of them Georgia.
Lineman, yeah.
He really
Florida, Gators. Just anywhere, man.
What's your major? What you thinking about your major?
Business of
administration.
Yeah.
He got it. Business administration. Get that MBA, baby.
Yeah.
And I think that's the beautiful thing about being able to take your skills on the field, or for some people, being able to take their skill set of being a great reader or a writer and being able to get scholarships or in a band to pursue those things. Like now that it's a front seat, and even now more with NIL, it's like they're really trying to push the education piece more. So being able to network and get those opportunities are good. If y'all just tuning in, baby, we're here with Brock Bryant, center from John Curtis, class of 2027. Big Booger. Y'all make sure y'all follow him at 77_Bryant on the social media. We're so happy that he joined us. I said, Boogie, gotta come get on the show, man. We have to, like Montero, those guys came on the show a couple times. We had Big E come on. So it's good to have, hear from the player's perspective. So when you look at your opponents, at Nakar, I think y'all play, y'all don't play Shaw this year, huh?
No, not this year.
Y'all play Carl, Brother Martin, Jesuit.
Yeah.
When you start thinking of those teams, and, you've obviously faced them on freshman, JV, and even with varsity, I mean, are you pumped for y'all's district play once the fall kick in?
Bro, yes. Bro, when it comes, I just think about, dominating. You got to dominate on the field. My coach, Coach JT, he told me, by itself, when you on the field, you have to dominate. Be a dominant player overall. Outside, inside, to your teammates, make everybody better. Just be dominant overall. So I'm really, psyched to go against Carr. Got to get back from last year. So
Not to give up any plays or any strategies. As a center, what's your favorite play, brother?
I like either 230 base or 215, because 215 we go like that. Well, for the center, right? And then we go get the linebacker. So I like popping the linebacker.
Yeah, you like getting on that next level.
And it's one thing about John Curtis is no secret.
They coming through. You already know.
I know what he wanted to know. He wanted to know if you wanted how you like the setback in those pass sets. And we've seen that, too. You've had, the Malachi Dupree's. I know y'all had Mike Turner recently. Skilled guys that can go get the ball. JT going to always play small ball.
And that's the thing about John Curtis. You'll hear these skilled players get a chance like a Dupree, even a Terrence Alexander at corner. But it's the core players, it's the offensive line, it's the defensive line that has held Curtis in high rankings and in championship football for decades.
Yeah.
And this young man is in the middle of it, literally. And I'm excited to see you this year, brother. Yeah. Number 77, right?
77, yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
77.
Big Boog. And so, spring ball, who y'all scrimmage against this year?
Usually, I think we're doing St. Paul again.
Okay.
St. Paul coming to y'all, or y'all go there?
We went there last year. So, I think we're going to get there again for our scrimmage.
And it kicks off. Now, I know some teams are different. Some teams go that first week in April. Some teams go that last week first week in May, last week in April. Are y'all going to start that first week of May? What's that schedule like for y'all?
I think it's the first week of May that we start. First week of May, yeah.
Okay, well, that's not bad. Because to me, when you start that last week of April, because that's right into after the Easter break. You
Well,
know
he's,
what I'm
well,
saying?
Faith, he's with Conquer Sports, so he's never not training. He's
Oh, yeah.
never not doing
yeah.
something. He's
Always be
constantly-
prepared.
He always
constantly
get it.
in, so.
Big Bug, he represented for the sports too, man.
Okay.
We had the Elite Training Academy. I partnered with them for our ratings and rankings, which that'll be dropping here soon. But man, my man handled his business on his one-on-ones. The coaches had a lot of good things to say, so that's good coming into your junior year because it's the most important thing. We talked about some of your achievable goals, and some of you say Jason Kelsey is your favorite player. I know he's retired now. Is there anybody else you're watching? I know there's like Eric McCoy, when healthy, one of the better centers in the league.
I watch him a lot too. Eric McCoy, he's really like, damn, like what can I say about him? He's dominant.
Speed too.
Speed, fast,
You get
fast. You gotta be fast too, cause these defensive linemen, you know, they all big and they fast. So you gotta make sure you're catching up with them too. You can't get too behind.
No doubt. Yeah, that's something CL just recently. Teron Armstead retired. He's did 13 years in the NFL. Just retired from Miami, and that was one thing that stood out about his game. He was fast. So
the fastest lineman to ever run 40 in the NFL draft.
Was it 4.7, huh?
Something fast.
4.8, some 4.7, 4.8, but
smoking.
But that's a guy who went to Arkansas Pine Bluff, got that opportunity, you know, and had created a long career out of it. His time with the Saints was great. All those Drew Brees years, and then in Miami. So yeah, big ups to him on that retirement.
So you know we're in the years of the NIL deal time, and you're coming up on that time. Fave mentioned to me that you were into fashion. Is there any maybe a Dillard's, or is there any place that you would receive an NIL deal to show off your fashion style, brother?
Where do I like to get my clothes from?
Come on.
I go to the mall sometimes, but
Well, we know this is online.
Yeah.
Right.
We know the mall. All at the mall.
Sometimes, but I really just order from online, and like
Okay.
a place that I see, I usually just like buy something from it. So
Tell the people what's your fashion style, if you could sum it up.
now I'm getting to like the hoodie and like the baggy jeans and like the.
You're not one of them kids that wear the hoodie in the summer, huh?
Oh no.
All right. Oh man,
Man,
child, that's all he want to do is.
You go to Curtis, you the center, you the smartest offensive lineman. He ain't doing nothing like that.
Unless it's the little cutoff sleeve or the little short sleeve, that's different. But boy, the kids who 110 degrees, the little kids be out there with the
brother.
hoodies
Thank you
on.
for not being
Thank
good,
you for
man.
not falling into that.
Sweater.
All black like that. He got it. He telling what his fashion swag is right now. He dripped out of here. So pregame, right before practice, before the game, you got to get hyped.
Yeah.
What's your playlist looking like? What's the top 5 songs of your playlist or top 5 artists in your playlist?
I don't usually have artists, but I just like to listen to like rap music or like, you know, some like hard kind of like. But it depends on like how I want to like enter the game. Do I want to enter it calm, smart, or like I just want to crash out and go hard on everything?
So who's the crash out? Who you listen to when you crash out?
Who they crash out.
Is it? Go ahead. I know who y'all crash.
Sometimes young boy.
Oh, you know Lil Top the first one.
Yeah.
Lil Top the first one they crashing out to. He is on the playlist for sure. All right. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. Like when Lil Wayne was our crash out guy because he went crazy on the mixtape. So that's who we listen to a lot. It just so happened to be a Louisiana guy that's still rolling with them, man.
Specializing crazy enough.
Yeah, he trying to cover. I listen to rap music. We know what's rap music, and we know who you check it out.
These are loaded questions.
They're definitely, by the way. All right, so I know CL asked you about like the different colleges you want to play for. You got any camps you want to go to? I know we have our 5-on-5 at Elite this Friday, but is it anybody's camp you're looking forward to going to this summer?
Me and my mom right now, we're planning on to go more, but we were gonna go to LSU, Ole Miss, Michigan State, Texas A&M, and just like the stuff like around, probably Florida. Okay. I don't know, but yeah.
No.
Georgia too. Georgia.
In this time and era, that's not a bad deal, traveling like that. I remember a few years back, I was talking with Derek Stingley Sr., and even though his son was a top player at his position, he said, hey, what's your top 5 schools? We're going to go visit those schools. We're going to go shake those coaches' hands, and we're going to let them know that we're serious about them because we're coming out there. So the fact that you and your mom have a plan together like that, that's smart. That's really pretty cool. Yeah, well, Boog, man, we like to do like these this or that questions with our high school players when they come on.
You ready?
So see, I know pre-production, we didn't know we were gonna go food with him like the last time or activity. So what you think we should go with him? Activity? Since we did food last, let's do activity. All right.
Sure.
Would you rather? So it's this or that? Are you? Is it? Or here or there? Let's see. Here or there. So we'll switch it up a little bit. I know it's usually this or that. We usually do our food. Here or there. Would you rather go? It's Saturday afternoon. Would you rather be at the mall or the movies?
Saturday afternoon.
Like 3:30.
If it's a good movie, I'm going to the movies. I ain't gonna lie.
All right,
If
they
it's a
got
good
some
movie,
Marvel comics coming out.
If it's a good movie, I'm going to the movies. I ain't gonna lie. But if it's some if they don't got nothing popping, I'm gonna go to the mall.
That's what's up. I'm a movie guy myself.
Yeah. And sometimes you gotta just chill, watch a little movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a movie guy myself.
Netflix, you heard it. Okay, what you got for us here?
If as far as you know, when you're in your off time and your time you're chilling or whatever, what do you prefer? You prefer to watch ESPN or Friday Night Football?
Ooh, that's a good one.
They all loaded questions. Boy.
ESPN or Friday night. Ooh.
Come on.
Yeah, I watch both. I'm gonna go with ESPN because I watch it more. I'm gonna say ESPN. Yeah.
I got one for him. Top Golf or the skating ring?
Nah, I feel like I'm gonna say skating ring just because I do it more and I'm like getting better at skating now. Cause at first I know I used to be falling on my butt and everything, but I'm gonna go with skating now. Yeah.
See, we got 2 more for him. You got another one for him? They all loaded questions.
Sure. Sure. If you wasn't, well, what you know what? If you wasn't doing football, if you wasn't playing center, what would be your other position?
All right, okay.
My other position,
center or
what?
It'd be guard.
All
yeah,
right.
guard.
Boy, like the old line, I'm telling you, you go out there,
Telling
start shutting stuff down, bro. You gonna start finding your niche where you won't be. Yeah. All right, one more before we wrap up this segment. All right. Ooh, like they all loaded questions. All right. Nah, I'm not gonna do that one. I'm not gonna do that one. All right. So this okay. All right. Captain America.
I got one.
Or Iron Man.
Iron Man.
Off top, I was about to say.
Yeah,
I was about to say.
Iron Man too much. He like that, bro.
Yeah, I'm with it.
Yeah.
Do a TikTok video or work out?
Work out, bro. Come on. So you know you gotta get a work.
I was about to say.
Work out, bro.
Well, he's Brock, Brian Brock. Thank you so much for coming on the
y'all.
show.
Thank y'all.
Y'all make sure y'all follow him. And coaches, remember, y'all can go to Conquer Sports Pros, click on our full season videos, check out some of our workouts. You'll see Brock there. Also on the Conquer Sports Instagram, he's all over. I think he got like 10,000 views on some of them videos, man. And look, if y'all want to holler at him, at 77_Bryant on Instagram. Well, y'all don't go nowhere. We rolling. We had my man Brock come through. We're going to be joined by Body by Phil. He's going to come talk to us about health, fitness, working out, man, training, getting ready for the pro days and all that good stuff. And once again, we want to thank Robert Wolf Construction for all that they do for the show. Remember, you can check them out at 143 Lapalco Boulevard. Be sure to let them know that you heard about them on Inside the Trenches. Give them a call at 504-393-2445. Y'all don't go anywhere. We'll be back right here on Inside the Trenches on ESPN Baton Rouge. Hello, somebody.
City Ford. If you are in need of a commercial vehicle, I'm here to help. From F-150s to Super Duty trucks or chassis to cargo vans, passenger vans, or if you're in need of a vehicle to be upfitted, we can build it especially for you. Or if you're looking for a truck or SUV, I can also help you at Lamarque Ford store in Kenner. Feel free to call me at 504-734-3579 and ask for Shelton. Lamarque Crescent City Ford is a proud partner of Inside the Trenches on ESPN.
Hello, somebody. This is Robert Wolf. If you are in need of construction or real estate services, project management services, give us a call at 504-393-2445.
Well, hello. Like Rob just said, hit up Robert Wolf Construction and Real Estate for your real estate and construction needs. And let them know you heard about them on Inside the Trenches with Marlon Favorite on ESPN New Orleans. Hello, somebody.
The vehicles in and out of here on a daily basis. We offer financing, all Carfaxes are online, and all our vehicles are serviced and inspected before sale. Best selection and prices in all of the New Orleans metro area. Come visit us today at 1512 North Causeway in the heart of Metairie. Come check us out at MonteroMotors.com.
Montero Motors, a proud sponsor of Inside the Trenches, ESPN New Orleans.
Dentro de las trincheras.
Inside the trenches.
Inside the trenches.
Dentro de las trincheras.
Inside the trenches.
Inside the trenches.
Dentro de las trincheras.
Inside the trenches.
Dentro de las trincheras.
Inside the trenches.
Inside the trenches.
Dentro de las trincheras.
Well, welcome back, baby. It's Inside the Trenches. It's your host, Marlon Favorite, and we're live here at the Loyola Studios. And also, we want to send a big shout out to ESPN Baton Rouge for having us here. Been a month now, CL. We've been rolling here on ESPN Baton Rouge. So shouts out to all our viewers. Y'all are really the real MVPs.
Month of Mondays.
Month of Mondays. I like that. You know what I'm saying? That sounds like a little tweetable right there. We want to send a big shout out to Lamarque Ford Crescent City. Listen, if you're a subcontractor, a contractor, or anybody, you're on an electrical company, whatever the case may be, and you need a nice utility vehicle, you got to hit my man, Fleet Manager Shelton Jordan up over there. His number's 504-734-3579. If you need trucks that got them, let them know that you heard about them on Inside the Trenches. Well, our next guest, man, we go back like 4 flats. I'm talking about 99 to 2000s. Yes, indeed. Ever since we were in high school, my next guest has been an awesome running back, musician, too, on the slick. Could play the piano and play the drums. And it's also, going on 2 decades, has been a staple in this community for all people. I'm talking about training for men, women, kids, developing athletes, you name it. Our next guest is none other than Philip Green, also known as Get Bodied by Phil, baby. Phil, thank you for coming on the show, dog.
Welcome.
Appreciate y'all, bro.
Thank you for coming, brother.
Yes, indeed. Man, Phil, there's so much that we could get into, obviously, because we go back to high school. But I really want to jump into the personal training business. Like, when did you know, man, this is what I'm going to do with my life, and then just get started from the beginning?
Man, personal from the beginning, just personal training.
Personal training. Like when you said, okay, this Bodies by Phil is gonna be a thing. When was that?
I'm gonna say, bro, after school, moving back to the city, and just trying to find my way, and then realize how I was like saying certain things was a little different. Then what happened, it started honestly with me, like kind of gaining weight, trying to figure it out, and then to a point where dropping my pops off one day at dialysis. Then he leaned over, he looks at me and like, man, hey, if you don't do something about yourself, you'll be in a situation to where you someone like me. So that kind of really resonated with me big time. So I was honestly my first client. But then after a while, people seeing me in the grind, people seeing me in the trenches, all my partners, I had friends still playing ball. I still had let's say, strides to maybe want to pursue that route too. So it's like, all right, I got to get back in shape. I got to get my mind right, get my body right. And while on that road, during that journey, that was like the process that kind of really kicked it off, bro. Like me getting it, and then how I'm processing information, being able to now, all right, I can teach it to my partner, and they learn it. I'm talking about like step by step too.
Right.
And, that really what kicked it off. Once it kind of happened, it really just happened, dog. Then there was no looking back.
So Phil, what year was this?
Man, that had to be, bro. Maybe 2008, maybe.
All right,
2008.
I figured that. I'm saying
Okay.
knocking on 20 years. Yeah,
it been close to 20. Close to 20 for sure.
Right, because I mean, I remember CL. He was going from different locations. I mean, all over the West Bank, you've had different locations, but the culture, like you can almost see some folks walking around like, oh yeah, they train with Phil because they got a certain look.
Right.
And I think over time that was unique. You were able to do that.
Well, yeah, they definitely have a certain look, brother. You've been the heading leader of that. What is your technique of training pro athletes and getting them ready for their pro day?
The technique to train an athlete for a pro day, it all with any athlete, it all start with an evaluation process, like an assessment, some sort of a consult. But if I know specifically they getting ready for a pro day, we'll just kind of start off with an assessment, kind of seeing where we'll have to start, what they need help with, if that makes sense.
Copy that.
Yeah, I want you to share our recent story. I was telling you about this off air. Me and Phil had took on one of our clients, Eric Hicks, who's also a friend of the show. Eric came on a few weeks ago. So we got Eric, and in 6 weeks, I mean, Phil, I don't want to spoil your tell of the story, but I can say I did get a lot of great feedback from some of the scouts, the coaches for the team on it, man. So I guess what CL was asking, because he's been hearing that, what that process was like training Eric, man, getting him ready in such a short time for his pro day.
So the assessment is really, I have a baseline assessment, but of course with a pro day, they have specific skills they're going to need to kind of to knock out. But like, so say if I was to walk you through my assessment, like so say when Eric came in, the initial thing, just basic assessment drill. So the initial drill, I'm gonna check your balance. I'm gonna see how you holding, how you standing on one foot. But then I want you to have the awareness to kind of hold your balance while looking to the right, looking to the left, looking to the middle. The minimum standard is 10 seconds. It's real simple. All my athletes, they don't realize how difficult it is until they actually try it. Then from there, we go to a basic plank position. Then, we do push-ups. I do a drill called a pronated grip dead hang. So it's just an overhand grip on a pull-up bar, and you just hanging. You're not doing a chin-up or a pull-up.
Already.
I'm just, like I say, I'm just assessing. You know what I'm saying? And then I try to see if they're up to standard. So if they're not up to standard with any of those drills, then I have a baseline of where they may need to start. Then, depending on the goal, the deadline, the timing, then I could kind of put together, all right, look, so say if it's Eric, when he first came in, I had a baseline specific timeline. All right, we got 6 weeks, so now I know what we need to maximize in this amount of time. This would be the rule. So like, if I'm talking about Eric, in his case, it wasn't a lot of time, so we really had to break down food first. I wanted him to kind of, I wanted to get his physique as tight as possible in a short amount of time, so I walked him through the basics of food. And then as far as in the gym, it was real simple. Once we went through the assessments, it's just kind of, let's say, understanding what movement patterns are. And I had to really establish his base real quick. That took about a week. And then it was just kind of just up and rolling at that point. It was real, it's kind of simple, but it was kind of, let's say, complex. So I wanted to really cater to what he needed, if that makes sense, in a short amount of time.
Yeah. That's how it went.
Yeah. So, and obviously, we get guests like you, and, I read up. Brother, I hear that you sculpt bodies. How do you go about the process of sculpting bodies?
Man, it's the same type process to a degree, but the main thing is the consult. So say if somebody wanted to sculpt a body, I have to make sure I separate what we could do inside the gym, and then what's going to be the main work, especially if you're trying to sculpt your body, the main work is outside the gym. So now we trying to prioritize food, which I think a lot of people know, but
man,
listen, if I'm being 100, the amount of focus that need to be put in food, most people not even putting, I'm gonna say half the percentage of it in. So like I do a real good job at holding people accountable when it comes to the actual goal. So now if the goal is to sculpt your body, I need to make sure we on the same wavelength. So we're gonna get a clear line of communication. Look, if we trying to sculpt your body, the primary focus need to make sure we keep it on food. So I break down food sample. Typically I ask somebody what their understanding of food is. Once I get an understanding of how they thinking, now I could kind of basically hold their hand and walk them down the road to success, if that makes sense. Yeah. Yep. But it's simple though. It's simple. Food really, it's not difficult to understand. So just the basics of it usually get people miles ahead of what they've been actually chasing for years.
Real talk. No, I'm just so me and Phil, our classes, for those who don't know, Conquer Sports and Body by Phil, we train at the same facility. I train over at Phil's facility. So I run into a lot of his clients all the time. I see this girl here all the time.
Okay.
But that's how it was. And I'll try to get y'all some. Y'all could go to. Wow. So I'm showing them Ravens pictures.
I got you.
Okay. I'm like, wow. Like, because
Raven a beast, bro.
She a beast. And it's the whole thing. Like, I'm thinking, okay, these women are coming there. They're already in decent shape. The way they work, you just thinking that they just maintaining. But when I saw that, I'm like, oh, yeah. Like this is more than just people going to Memorial Beach weekend. It's a lifestyle.
No doubt about it. That's my approach. Like, my business model is really trying to, let's say, gravitate towards clients, help people that been struggling with weight loss, if we talking about that type of clientele, but then show them how to do it, not necessarily just say, do this, eat this, eat that. Now, I'm going to kind of really break it down, get a clear understanding of how you learning, and then I'm going to walk you through the steps. Because it's I'm telling you, CL Fave is way simpler, though, than people make it. I think people make even the physical goals, like fitness goals and like getting ready for pro day, we make it too difficult.
Yeah.
Most people, I'm going to say now, especially I've been in the game now some years, most people don't understand where they at, if that makes sense.
No, 100%. No, a lot of people don't. Now, because even no, listen to this. Even as I'm a guy, spent 6 years in the pros. I've had tons of strength and conditioning coaches, but part of the process with me being over there by Phil is just to have general knowledge in case I got to jump in and help with anything. So I went through a workout. Man, just the simple parts of the workout was difficult because first thing he did in his console, he said, Fave, all right, what have you been doing? So it comes to find out, I came to find out that I was only working 3 different workout motions. And Phil had like 8 or 9 different workout motions. For our viewers, man, talk to them about the different.
So the biggest disconnect in training in the fitness game, I think most people, I'll probably say maybe 90% of the viewing public, that might be, it might be too less. It might be closer to 100%. They train muscles. I train movement patterns.
See, that's what the world.
If that makes sense.
That's what I was thinking about.
It does make sense because I would even bring it to layman's term. If you remember the Matrix, right? When Neo comes out of the little pod, out of the liquid, and he asks like Morpheus, why can't I move? He says you've never moved your arms before. So movement patterns. I definitely get that. Your true actions every day will sculpt you and dictate, and then you add on to that.
Well, it's kind of like, so say if you want the physical attributes is like a side effect, if that makes sense. So most people go to the gym for a workout. I think the workout is the side effect of training. So I'm gonna train you on movement. So think of it like this. Think of a movement as a skill. So say the squat pattern, right? Or for the viewers, if they aren't familiar with it, you got basic movement patterns, right? You have a squat pattern, you have a push pattern, you have a pull pattern, you have a hip hinge, and you have loaded carries. Right. Then if you was to add a 6, that'll be anything, everything else. So you talking about mobility work, your static stretching, if you're doing foam rolling, if you're doing ab work, if you're doing, anything you could think of that's not one of those baseline movement patterns, be that 6 pattern. But any exercise I could teach you in the gym gonna be one of those initial patterns I named. So you squat, you push, you pull, your hip hinge, your loaded carry.
Yeah, the loaded carry, the hip hinge, that I didn't have a lot of workouts in those categories. I just do like a lot of push, you know. Okay, what pattern are they working when you have that sandbag attached to their ankles?
So that's a loaded carry variation.
Loaded carry, okay.
So for athletes, loaded carries are, in my opinion, especially now with a ton of like, let's say, information on people responding, loaded carries is your biggest bang for buck for performance. So the simplest one is like if you pick up 2 weights, 2 water jugs, two anything that's pretty heavy, and you just walk with it. That's a baseline one. And then all the rest of the patterns have the same kind of, let's say, baseline tier 2. Then they could progress to very, very exotic, if that makes sense. But you shouldn't, in my opinion, you shouldn't start there. Like, so say if we talking about a workout, right? You go to the gym. Most people gonna do what Fave say. They gonna do, let's say, I usually say a lot of push. I'm gonna see some sort of a pull and something that may be a squat that look like a squat. So like a push, squat. Yeah, but it's not. But they never had a chance to develop the concept of it.
Right.
So what I do, and if I'm going back to like Eric's case, he had a weightlifting background, if that makes sense. But he hadn't had a movement pattern background at all. So the impact and like you say, we had 6 weeks. So you talking about we added 12 inches to his standing long jump.
That's right.
Would it be 1 hour drills that I'm gonna assess you on day one? In that case, I'm trying to measure your ballistic power. So now we are trained all the different movement patterns depending on the skill level. So I assess, evaluate, see where your skill level is, and then I'm trying to impact all the things that we tested on day one. So like in the 10, it could be change of direction, it could be ballistic power, it could be explosive power, and it could be just baseline strength. So say if I want to use bench press on somebody, I get they 15 rep max. I think he came in, I want to say he did 13 or 14 on bench press. Maybe it was 13. I think in that 6 weeks time, we went from 13 to, he did like 21?
He did 21.
He did 21, something like that, 21, 22.
He
And
was
mind you,
somewhere
this
in that
still 6 weeks. And in the course of that, because we train in a push pattern now, we not necessarily just working it and repping every day.
Right.
We training it. So like we going to train it in different variations and also different skill levels too, if that makes sense. You know, like skill levels can be hard to kind of understand too, but so say if we talking push pattern, before push-ups, so say if you came in, right, and push-ups is a problem. I can't train you in push-ups. That's your threshold. So I need to regress you, so I might train you in a crawl pattern, which is called a quadruped pattern. So that'll be a regression. We still training the same pattern, but based on your skill level or your strength adherence, that's where you need to be. So think of, I'm trying to put you in the water where you could swim and not be in survival mode the whole training session. So most people go to the gym, their goal is, now mind you, not talking say that most normal people, non-athletes, they gonna come in the gym, their primary goal is what? They trying to look good.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but they looking for the workout to be like the torch in a dark tunnel, but at the same time, I'm gonna teach you about food. I'm gonna train you at the appropriate skill level, and now you can see yourself progressively get stronger, and stronger, and all that does is make what I'm trying to do a little bit simpler, a little bit easier.
So I've looked at your Instagram, brother. I've seen the transformations that you made, body by field.
Yes.
What is your goal for 2025? What's next for body by
Man,
field?
I'm trying to get the smoothie shop open at the gym, dog.
Okay.
So we're in this warehouse, prime location.
Where are you located?
On Peters Road, 441 Peters Road, Harvey, Louisiana. Not too far from where we used to get down at in high school.
Yeah, right there from West Jeff football field. Yep.
But if I had to say a goal, of course I want to keep continuing to grow my brand. But the biggest thing I'm trying to focus on and put not all of my focus in, but like the appropriate amount to kind of get it done
Mm-hmm.
is that smoothie shop, bro. I want this smoothie shop, coffee shop in the front to the point where mainly just kind of giving my clientele something to have that's done. So inside of it, it'd be like an area where you could kind of just sit down after the workout, pre-workout, post-workout, kind of chill, relax, have TVs in there. You can watch the game. Then at the same time, you could get a little coffee if it's early in the morning, or you can get you a smoothie. And hopefully, with God's willingness, it grows into the point where it could actually be a grab and go. But that's the goal. That's the goal right now for us, like from a business perspective.
Okay.
But other than that, 2025, man, full of goals, bro. Physically, I'm getting right myself, so I'm locked in a little bit more week to week with my diet and getting ready. We got this couple trip with the missus.
There you go. All right. Hello,
so I got to be right, all the way right.
Yeah,
by June, you feel what I'm saying? But that's a short-term goal right
I know
there.
that's right.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yes, indeed. Well, he's Phil Green, also known as Body by Phil. Y'all make sure y'all follow him at Body by Phil _LLC _. I'm telling you, the picture I was showing y'all about Raven, the video, that's real. You can check that out. Tons of testimonies. You can see some of the workouts that he do. So, Phil, how can our viewers that's watching, how could they sign up for your program if they want to train with you?
So they could either, if they follow me on Instagram, you could either send me a direct message. Then the first step is to set up a consult. We need to figure out what your goals are, what you need help with. Once we get an understanding of that, we'll kind of schedule a time to where we could sit down, and then we kind of find the appropriate rate for you. But to find me, I have my website is listed also. I believe it's bodysbyphil.com maybe.
Yeah, it is.
The link is on my IG page though. Phil the Trainer is my other page, my personal page too. So if you having trouble finding Bodies by Phil _LLC, or you can also link both of them. Phil the Trainer. You can find me and contact me. Either send a message via website, or man, just send me a direct message.
Tell you, and look, be ready, y'all. Listen, don't. This is the place to be. I'm telling you, you get the results you need. Whether you're an athlete, pro, amateur, you're just a novice person wanting to work out and get going. Bodies by Phil is the place. That's 441 Peters Road, right there in Harvey, Louisiana. Man, Phil, thank you for coming on the show.
Man, I appreciate it, dog.
We got to get you back on. It's Phil's second time on the show, bro. It's been a while since he came on.
It was different.
Yeah, it was totally different.
First time.
That's on the phone. That's that throwback. Humble beginnings.
Man, look, we've been both grinding, dog.
Yes, indeed. We've been grinding, baby.
We're happy to have you in the bright light.
Man, I appreciate it, dog. I appreciate y'all for having me.
Well, y'all, make sure y'all go ahead and follow him at Bodies by Phil _LLC _. And we want to take this time to once again thank Lamarque Ford Crescent City. Any subcontractors or contractors looking for some vehicles, hit up Fleet Manager Shelton Jordan at 504-734-3579 and let them know that you heard about them right here on Inside the Trenches. Y'all don't go anywhere. We're going to go around the state, baby. We got spring ball games coming up this week. We're going to talk a little LSU spring ball. CL, we're going to, probably going to talk LSU. You got to talk draft. It's Inside the Trenches. We'll be right back right here on ESPN Baton Rouge. YouTube, baby. Hello.
Hello, I'm Shelton Jordan with Lamarque Crescent City Ford. If you are in need of a commercial vehicle, I'm here to help. From F-150s to Super Duty trucks or chassis to cargo vans, passenger vans, or if you're in need of a vehicle to be upfitted, we can build it especially for you. Or if you're looking for a truck or SUV, I can also help you at Lamarque Ford Store in Kenner. Feel free to call me at 504-734-3579 and ask for Shelton. Lamarque Crescent City Ford is a proud partner of Inside the Trenches on ESPN.
Hello, somebody. This is Robert Wolf. If you are in need of construction or real estate services, project management services, give us a call at 504-393-2445.
Well, hello. Like Rob just said, hit up Robert Wolf Construction and Real Estate for your real estate and construction needs. And let them know you heard about them on Inside the Trenches with Marlon Favorite on ESPN New Orleans. Hello, somebody.
Hi, it's Alberto Montero. We got a great selection of vehicles in and out of here on a daily basis. We offer financing, all Carfaxes are online, and all our vehicles are serviced and inspected before sale. Best selection and prices in all of the New Orleans metro area. Come visit us today at 1512 North Causeway in the heart of Metairie. Come check us out at MonteroMotors.com.
Montero Motors, a proud sponsor of Inside the Trenches, ESPN New Orleans.
Inside the trenches.
Dentro de las trincheras.
Inside the trenches.
Inside the trenches.
Dentro de las trincheras.
Inside the trenches.
Inside the trenches.
Dentro de las trincheras.
Inside the trenches.
Inside the trenches.
Dentro de las trincheras.
Inside the trenches.
Dentro de las trincheras.
Inside the trenches.
Inside the trenches.
Welcome back, baby. It is Inside the Trenches. And when I tell you time flies when you're having yourself a good time, that is definitely true. It does, because this is our last segment of the night. It's such a sad moment for us.
Clip his wings.
Clip his wings. But we want to take this time to thank all of our sponsors, Small Sliders, for all that they do for the show, Montero Motors. We want to thank Robert Wolf Construction and Real Estate. And we also want to send a special thank you to Lamarque Ford Crescent City. So, thank you. So, just, CL, I know our first segment, we spent a lot of time talking about the draft and the direction the Saints may go, so on and so forth. Well, we do know the area that runs the NFL is the South. That's Louisiana, baby.
Yeah.
And it's springtime. I mean, the weather is starting. Well, it's kind of cold today. Ain't gonna lie. It's a little
Thank
different
goodness.
But
Not
the
ready
weather
for
is starting to cooperate just a little bit, right? It's, the time has changed. So, and this week, LSU plays their spring game. UL, they have theirs this week. I want to say Nicholls State. Everybody between basically this week and next week, they're having their spring games.
Yep.
Let's go around the state. We'll tease LSU for last.
Okay.
So McNeese, it's a team that they try to figure out what type of spark that they can have in recruiting, trying to get the right players in to stay home in the state. I know right now they have quarterback Nate Galls, and they run an offense that's revamped, a secondary that looks pretty physical, aggressive. So I think when you look at that team out there on Lake Charles, Louisiana, they may make some noise in the Southland Conference.
I think things are looking up for McNeese. Obviously, we know what they did in the basketball tournament. Coach Wade obviously leaving the city. I'm leaving the actual school. But I think the impact of what the basketball team did is going to galvanize the football team moving forward. Because quintessentially it's a small school in the South. But those boys making it to the tournament, I'm sure, not just motivated the basketball facility. I'm sure it motivated everybody on campus and enrollment and with the new facilities that they brought in.
That's right. They did expand a bit. The facilities are pretty nice. And, again, McNeese is a team. I know the Ogeron boys had went there at one point. You've always had them. I mean, last year they wasn't all that hot, but they try to, make their way through that. I mean, and like I said, it just speaks volumes about the talent here.
Yeah, because it's about recruiting, right? If it's NIL or if it's free, we constantly say college football is now free agency. Now it's about recruiting. When Wade came in, he recruited the best guys for the basketball position that he wanted them to play, and that's what he got. I can see the same thing happening for the football team. Now that you have more publicity, now that you've increased your enrollment, Now that you've increased your television appearances, I think that bodes well for them to be not a dominant team, but a dominant name in Louisiana sports.
Let's go ahead and stick with the Southlands Conference, and let's go to Southeastern right there in Hammond.
Okay.
Coach Selfo, who's been there now for
Nick
some
Selfo.
years. That's right.
Okay.
No, Frank, I'm
Frank.
sorry. Coach Frank Selfo has now been there for some years, and so far they've had their 10 practices, spring workouts. Last year they finished 7-5, 6-1 in the conference. It wasn't the worst, Obviously they were able to make some noise. So they will have their Family Day Super Lions Saturday. So they're at 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. will be their spring game. It will be on North Shore Broadcasting. So if y'all want to check that out, Southeastern typically does a decent job at bringing in players from the state that have made some noise over the time. So I think that'll be cool to check them out. We're going to stick with the Southland Conference, and we're going to go Old Nickel State. Of course, running back Colin Guggenheim had that one heck of a game against LSU, and then they also have defensive standout Jalen Spears on their roster. CL, when you start to think about the Nickel State football team, that's another team that came in, to be quite frank, they came in to LSU and they battled out a quarter. Like it felt like they were running the ball down our throat. When you think about Nickel State, based on the two teams I just mentioned, McNeese, who is probably at the bottom of that pack, but then you also have Southeastern. Do you look at Nickel State as being that dominant force they were maybe a few years ago?
Well, I know there has been a coaching change. It's a new regime. I'm not 100% sure that they could be on the same level, but it's about recruiting. It's literally about recruiting. It's no secret that Nichols has been bartering with the talent that's been given to them in Louisiana. And at the end of the day, I'm not 100% sure what this new coaching regime. I know what the last regime did and produced for them. But this new regime, I'm not 100% sure. But I'll be honest enough to sit back and wait for the results.
Yeah, of course they don't have Coach Rebo as the head coach anymore. They're going with Tommy Reback as their head coach. So,
which was under coach, which he was already on the staff.
Yeah, he was already
Coach Ryback was already on the staff.
Yeah.
So I don't know his philosophy per se.
Right.
And we'll see.
It was more of a lateral move. It was probably. He was on the staff. Let's see, Ryback joined the coaching staff as defensive coordinator in 2015 when Rebo became the head coach. So, they just basically made that move. In their minds, it was definitely time for a change, and he became the 11th head coach of that. After Rebo retired, at Nickel State. So. It was a change.
25 years.
Yeah, I mean, he's held it down. I've worked several of his camps over the years, and
he's definitely a big presence during the Manning camps that come out to. To Raceland and Thibodeau areas.
It's fun. I ain't gonna lie. I even performed.
Really?
I performed out. My man Alliance. Dr. Alliance, they do like a little dinner at his crib, big old nice house out there.
Obviously,
and you can imagine. So they was like, "Hey, we like the Hello Somebody song," and I performed out. It was pretty cool. Me and my wife ate good.
Okay.
Yeah, it was nice, man. They show love. So it's Nickel State's always. So we've been me, Scholar. I think Carnell did it with us a couple times, and we would bring our student athletes from Concord Sports out to Nickel State, and we'll spend like 3 days out there. They'll give us some gifts. Eric Alexander typically goes. Jarvis Green, we typically go to that camp, so that's pretty cool. All right, CL, let's get out the Southland Conference for a minute. Let's go to UL. UL's always been a team that's been nationally getting some national recognition, and Louisiana Tech. Just to talk about those two schools combined. UL, they have Zion, Chris showing off a big ability. competing and it's heating up the running back and the linebacker position. And when you look at Louisiana Tech, those two teams, especially like if you go through that 2015 to 20 range, I mean, Louisiana Tech will creep into 24.
Oh.
You know, UL he could be, ranked 21.
It for me, it all depends on the injuries, right? Or lack thereof. We all know that I was about to say NFL. We all know that a college football season is a war of attrition. And the more healthy you are at the end, you've seen teams like a La Tech, a UL creep up in the top 25. It might be 25, but they're in there. 24, but they're in there. So with it being NIL, we're hoping that more Louisiana kids stay in state to keep that situation that's constantly recurring because of the Louisiana talent in state.
And I'm just looking across a couple of these names. Colin Guggenheim, he's somebody who balled out for John Curtis.
Right.
Locally, able to keep him in state and play with that pride. I talked about Zion Chris, but he's going against Chandlerfield, someone who played locally here with Holy Cross, Archbishop Rummel. Yeah. You talk about we go ahead and segue to Tulane. We had Eric on the show. We've had Adonis Freelo on the show. Adonis is a local guy returning to his senior year at Tulane. So, I mean, it's so many. I'm starting to see the remaining schools outside of LSU really shape the state. Let's get the best guys in state. Makai Hughes over at running back, making tons of noise at Tulane. So I'm excited about Tulane and what they have going. Coach John Sumrall and his staff has done a tremendous job at getting high-level players, draft caliber players. You think back to the Tajay Spears of the world, who should be one of the premier backs in Tennessee this year for the Titans.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'm excited the direction Tulane has been going.
Yeah, and I look for a John Emery to possibly go to any one of those respective schools now that he got the 7th year eligibility cleared.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's an opening in one of these respective schools in Louisiana so he can show off his talent and his health to make it possibly give it a shot at the next level.
I wouldn't mind because John has shined on a Power 5 level.
Right.
Being in the rotation of those running backs for the national championship in 2019, I wouldn't mind seeing him at UL, Louisiana Tech, or Tulane, especially Tulane, because now we will really have a national champion running back sharing reps in that backfield, or if he do take the route of going to a Louisiana Tech or something of that nature. Because for John,
they got a spot for you.
Yeah. And another thing, too, CL, for John, I think it's really about just go and get a rack.
Yeah.
Go and get 1,000 yards, 10 touchdowns, and just take a shot at the lead because he's an explosive player. We've seen him shine at LSU.
I think it's about him showing that he can stay healthy throughout a season. I mean, we all know that, football is 100% injury rate in the sport. But your most important ability is availability.
Hello.
And I know that, we're all in Louisiana rooting for him. And we all want to see him do well. And me and Fave have talked numerous of times thinking that he should stay in state and go to one of these respective schools to show his talent and his ability to stay healthy.
And not saying that there won't be a better option out of the state. Definitely explore those. But it's just something about playing for your state and what that does is huge.
Pride, baby.
Speaking of state, let's go to Louisiana State University. Them Fighting Tigers, they have their spring game April 12th. Are you going to the spring game this year?
I wouldn't miss it.
Yeah. That you was there last year.
I wouldn't miss it.
Your little cousin, he not there this year. He's the porter.
Well,
It's how it goes. It's the game, man. It's what happens.
Free agency.
College free agency, bro. It's live and live in color. We're watching it in real time.
I'm joking when I say free agency.
It's really free agency.
It's really free agency.
Yeah, it's better than the league free agency. Yeah, you ain't got to deal with ain't too much red tape.
You don't have an agent to pay.
Yeah, you do have agents in some cases because a lot of times these student athletes do need some assistance, so they do need some type of team around them. I will say that. So Gary Nussmeier, right, is coming back off of one heck of a campaign of a junior season to stay. I have a lot of respect for Nussmeier, even guys like Josh Williams, in a time of NIL and the transfer portal hole is bigger than one of those Power Ranger portals back in the day. You jump in and go fight. Go Power Rangers. It's bigger than that right now. In regards to the amount of guys going inside the portal. So for Gary Nussmeier to stay at LSU those years and fight and play behind greatness, be behind a Jaden Daniels. Jaden goes down in the SEC championship. He got that. He's definitely earned it to be one of the top players. But I think a lot of people, CL, when they go to the spring game or they check it out on television or YouTube, they're looking for this fast receiving core.
Right.
Like they're looking to see what these guys did. Watching a little clips from the spring practices, but this is a wide receiving core that has next level speed. I mean, I think the average 40-yard dash in this crew is like a 4.3, something crazy like that.
Well, it's no secret that I'm a fan of Mr. Anderson, number 1 wide receiver for LSU. But I have been so intrigued about this young man, Byron Brown, that came over from Kentucky. It almost goes back to the days, and don't quote me, don't kill me. I'm just using this as a reference. It almost goes back to the days of when you used to hear these stories about Bo Jackson, because, of course, social media wasn't there. And, of course, I'm not comparing him to Bo Jackson, but just hearing the stories, not social media posts or whatever, just from word of mouth. Hey, this guy might be the most explosive receiver at LSU. Hey, this guy might be the fastest receiver in the SEC. So it has definitely piqued my interest. I think the spring game, we saw Nussmeier kind of break out last year with the deep ball at the spring game. I think this is a prime situation to see what Mr. Brown can do with a respected Mr. Anderson on the other side.
Yeah, out of Kentucky, and they already talked about his speed and what he's able to get done. I mean, just to go through the names, you do have Nick Anderson, you do have Brian Brown, Xavier Thomas, another speedster, Chris Hilton Jr., who later on last year really started to shape into one of those top receivers. I'm even seeing a lot of good reports about Tyron Francois, man-child out of Edna Carr, who was an early enrollee. Speaking of Tulane, they scrimmaged last week, and Oliver Mitchell, another Edna Carr wide receiver, is having one heck of a spring there, too. So I thought I'd mention that.
Well, that's my guy.
Hey, look, Ollie, that's your people,
Red
man.
5, that's my guy.
They got the ballers over there in Algiers, I must say.
We actually saw him coming from study hall from the HBCU game.
I know somewhere else we saw Ollie at.
So we're definitely excited to see all these young men. And it's not just because they come on the show. It's not because they're part of Conquer Sports. Meeting these young men, we almost become like uncles to them.
Yeah, they call us Unc, bro.
Yeah,
we're
they call you Unc enough, you end up acting like Unc, right? So, we have this urgency to want to see them perform. We have this need to want to see them do better, and the anticipation just bites at my heels because football is here.
Before we wrap the show, I want to talk about LSU defensively.
Come on.
Because we've been seeing a lot of progress with both Whit Weeks and Harold Perkins. So these guys look healthy. I've been hearing a lot of stuff about this one guy I'm looking forward to checking out, Jack.
Jack?
Yeah, Jack, or was it
Jack.
Pie Bomb or Burn?
I call him Mr. Jack.
Jack be nimble, Jack be quick, huh? So I'm because the personality's there. He kind of puts me in the mindset of a Whit Wheat. So I'm looking to see what he's going to do, especially on the defensive line. Ashton Stamps is coming back off of a really good season. He has Delaney Mansour transfers over to help out. They have the freshman DJ Pickett.
That's who I'm looking
who from what I'm hearing,
come on.
He's doing well. He's working with the two.
Word him out.
Yeah,
something that you're hearing. It's not posts. It's just whispers here and there from people in the media, people that you respect, coaches, you know, word them out.
Yeah, and a lot of it's, you know, I know he's rotating in with his 2s and the 3s, so he's getting those reps in. Michael Turner is another guy we talked about, was Brock's teammate.
Okay.
He's also moved on, you know, in the secondary on the depth chart there. So, I mean, defensively, I do think, CL, to your point, we got some good guys to come in from the transfer portal, and we got some returning starters. So
good mix of old and young.
The LSU Tigers.
Old.
Yeah, you got to be. Hey, bro, some of these dudes are 7 years.
What's some of them old now?
Yeah, it's some grown men cheering and everything. Well, check this out, baby. That does it for another episode of Inside the Trenches. Y'all be sure to check that LSU spring game out. I want to say it's like 9 or 10 a.m. This Saturday. We will definitely be in the building. Also, they'll have the 5 versus 5, baby, at Elite. I would definitely be there with my group of guys getting ready to go win the prize, baby. Hello. So if you're a top dog offensive lineman, top dog defense lineman in high school, make your way on down to Elite Training Academy this Friday about 5:30. And, hey, baby, we're going to put that work in. Well, yes, indeed, for our staff, man, everybody over there on production, UP, Spin, Damian, Hannah Montana, Hannah on in the building, you know what I'm saying, Taylor, Camille, thank y'all so much, Damian, all for what y'all do for the show. Man, I appreciate my boy, man. I got to holler at my guy. He's new with us. I want to thank him, too, as well. The coolest co-host in the city, CL NOLA Rollers, baby.
Only on the weekends.
Only on the weekends, baby. You know what I'm saying? Yo.
But today is Monday.
Hey, Monday fun day, bro. We didn't transform this Monday, bro. It's something to look forward to. It's like a 3-day weekend, right?
Like a dog.
So, and big ups to ESPN Baton Rouge for allowing us to have their YouTube channel. Peace and blessings to y'all. And remember, y'all can check us out next week at 6:30 p.m. right here, same place. Hey, and remember, I wanted to tell this last time. Remember, y'all can text the word all caps BIGFAV to 94253. We want to get this hot list thing going, man. Summertime coming up. We want to get some prizes from our sponsors out to some of our listeners. So y'all just text that so we load up on y'all.
And by all means, if you have a draft order, you know, because I see the few comments from here.
It's coming up,
that y'all agree with me most of the part. But anybody that has a draft order that they feel, by all means, leave it in the comments. We'll definitely address that.
And remember, the draft is coming up pretty soon, so we'll have the draft show here. So that show, we have 2 shows that week. We got the Monday show pre-draft and then the actual draft show that Thursday. So for small sliders, Montero Motors, Robert Wolf Construction and Real Estate, and Lamarque Ford Crescent City. Shouts out to our sponsors for all their help. And remember, y'all, make sure y'all subscribe and like Inside the Trenches with Marlon Favorite on YouTube. And remember, y'all can check out all our full episodes of the show right here on Baton Rouge's ESPN 104.5 FM YouTube channel. Well, that does it for another week, baby. Y'all have yourselves a blessed one, and we'll get with y'all soon. Hello, somebody. Peace.
Dentro de